Hello everybody. Today you're going to learn about how to create an easy report and learn all the basics about how to do reporting in SuiteCRM system. My name is Bastian Hammer, your go-to expert when it comes to all things CRM, marketing automation, e-commerce and sales integration. Okay, so let's go. So assume you've got your SuiteCRM system up and running. You're entering data and you're working off the data. But now you're wondering whether it's possible to generate reports on this data and how it works. And of course, it is possible. The reports in SuiteCRM look quite neat and you can achieve a lot with them already out of the box. So today, let's dive into the basics, how to use them and what's important about the reports. In order to start with the data and with the reporting, I'm using the leads module. I've imported a little bit of demo data, 5,200. And now I'm going to open the reports in a second tab so I can jump around later on in order to build those reports and double check them. So, after installing SuiteCRM, you don't have any reports here. And your job is now to find the right data and to answer the right questions with the reports. So then I start by simply adding a new report. And now I need to give it a name. So let's first think about what we want to accomplish. We want to play around with the leads. Maybe we just name it lead test. And then you need to, again, assign to. The assign to makes sense if you're working with several people on reports. This could definitely happen in the sense of there are different departments building reports, marketing, sales, maybe even customer service. Depending on what you've got inside your CRM system, there might be a couple of people working on those reports. In the permissions, check out my permission video on SuiteCRM as well. Then you can even configure that maybe the invoicing or accounting department doesn't want the marketing department to see all the reports. And you can configure things like this as well. Partly it's being done by the assigned to, depending a little bit on the security groups and how you're using them. So the easiest version here is you always know who to ask if you have questions about a report, and more complicated will be like to have different groups separating or splitting up permissions what to see. And then, despite the name, we still need the report module. Where do you start with your reports? And then charts per row. In case you want to have charts, you can configure the number per row. But if you don't want to have any charts, you can just leave it as it is. Let's go through the critical area here. So you've got a module tree on the left hand side. That means you've got all the modules available here, which is a bit misleading because here we say we want to report on the leads module. And yes, we do this as well, but we need to first select the leads here in order to be able to pick those fields. So that's important. And now let's start with simply the names, and we've got a couple of names, first name, last name, and maybe we even add the account name. So, and then these are being added to the fields, and you can see we've got already a couple of options to configure here, but without diving deep into the specific options, I would go ahead and first save it so that we can see the outcome of what we've just done. Okay, so we've got first name, last name, and account name in the list view. We've got 5,200 as it looks in the lead module as well. As you can see, 5,200, and it looks similar here in the sense of first name, last name, and we've got the account name as well. Now let's go back and edit this report and see what we can do. So first of all, let's go into the individual columns and what's their options. So for instance, display or not to display. We can choose not to display it. in case you want to group by or something, you can do this one here. But for us, we currently want to display it. Then the link, I'll simply activate those two and save it again. And then you will see you can click on this data record here and the lead will be opened right away. And this is very handy when you're building more complex reports, because then you would usually build from the details on that you can see all the details. You can easily click and open the data, validate it, and then you can continue drilling down, filtering, or doing some functions on those data values. So therefore, it's just easier to validate your data, to validate your report outcome. So and then you've got something like functions, and here, as you can see, count, minimum, maximum, sum, and average. It usually works on fields like IDs or numbers. So if you really have like a report over all your let's say over all your data, and you want to see the count, how many you've got in total, and then you would simply add a count here. And for sorting, ascending and descending, I think that's self-explanatory. Then you can group something as well. So let's give it a try. It might be possible, but with a little bit of luck, we'll see it. So as you can see, we are grouping by first name, and the first name here is empty. And therefore, it's very easy to group in this case, just because it's empty and it's being grouped by that one. But let's try something different. So if we want to group, let's say, for instance, by the account name, and we want to sort descending, and then we'll give this another try. And you can already see there are some, maybe not. As I said, with a lot of luck, it might be possible, Zeeman group. So here we definitely have this. So there are a couple of different leads assigned, or like having the tag of one group. So if I go to this lead, now I can double check it again. So this lead here is assigned to the Zeeman group, and here you can see Zeeman group exactly. So this is definitely true. It is possible to group something by field values. So one word of one advice and warning: if you want to group per country, let's say, for instance, and then make sure that your country names or states or cities are always the same. Otherwise, you've got, let's say, the US, the USA, and the United States of America, and the United States. So we've got 4 different countries, and your results will simply be skewed. Then totals. These totals will simply will display a total at the very bottom of everything if you use something here like count, for instance. And then you can do a count on the total as well. So let's just give it a try how that works with those functions. So I'll take, for instance, the ID field. And the ID field, I can apply the count field and the count here as well. And let's see what happens. And as you can see, now it's not working fairly well. So here it's counting everything, and everything is indeed 5,200. So that's counted correctly. And we've got 1. So here in this report, 1 is being displayed. So it is correct. But now you see the problem from what I just said before. Make sure that you first check your data carefully before you apply the functions, because once you apply the functions, it will be kind of grouped or summed or like summarized, so you can't even click on something, and this will simply skew your results if you do those functions too early and you've got wrong data selected. So I'm going to remove it again, just in order to be able to see more details. Because the details are important. I want to see quickly whether it's okay, but no, it's not okay. I want to add a couple of more rows. I'm specifically interested in the geography at the moment. So I would search for, and there are two addresses. One is the primary address, usually one for billing address, and the other one is for shipping or the alternative address. In this case, I want to have a country and maybe the city, because we can drill down if we wanted to. So these will be displayed as well. I go and save it again. And as you can see, that works well. I've got the data here displayed as well. Now let's go and apply some conditions. So here, what you're configuring here is basically the view, what should be displayed and how it should be displayed. But now I want to add what should be displayed. So let's say, again, back to the leads. I click on it and I want to filter and want to see only from the US, for instance. Then I would go ahead and search again for the country. Alternative address country, no, but the primary, that's what I need. And now the question is, and you can see the problem here. So if I just search for USA and click on save, I will find a few. So here we've got 200. Then I do the same thing, but call it in a different way. United States. And I save it again. And you see 1,900, close to 2,000. It's two different countries, exactly what I said before. So you need to be very careful on how you organize the data and how you make sure that you got the correct data in your CRM system. It's text fields, so people can enter whatever they want to. Check out my video on the SuiteCRM fields. I'm going into details how you can improve the data by using the correct type of field, the correct data inside the fields. So now we've got dirty data. What to do with this? So if you simply want to have a quick answer to your question, meaning you want to finish the report, we've got the option to do something like I'm dropping parentheses here and I'm putting my conditions here and add yet another condition. So I go back to leads and I search for the country again. Clicking and dragging this one here. So now, remember USA was the other country, and I would simply go ahead and save it. Oh, now I forgot one thing, sorry. So since I want to find either or, I need to make it an or logic, not an and logic, because one country usually doesn't have both text inside. So, but it's either or. So then I click again on it, and now we have the right number, 2,166. Very well. And now there's another thing that I can do inside the conditions. It would be a parameter. So now it could, for instance, be that you want to produce a report every month, or you're doing like a statistic KPI every month. I have this in several projects where you just need to have one, and it's called a parameter, where you have to change one thing every month, and based on what you changed there, you would get different numbers. You would do this at the last or at the beginning of the month or something. So here I would add the primary address state, and the value should be equal to California. And then we can see 198 are from California. And you see the different cities here as well. It fits nicely. And now, in order to accomplish this, so you don't have to go and do this one again and again, you would simply tick this checkbox here, parameter. And by doing that, I save this again. You've got CA here as a parameter. And then I can do the same thing and just change my data to, for instance, Texas. Or I can change my parameter to New York. And as you can see, that looks nice and easy. And you don't have to edit the report again. You can just work off the same report and just change the parameter to whichever you want to have or need. So, do we need anything else? I think so far so good. We've got the fields, we've got a quick overview of the count, and we've got conditions. And maybe let's look into this one here. So here you've got a couple of different options. So of course you can do like value, which is just what you're writing here. But you can use a field as well. So you can maybe make like are two fields identical. So maybe you want to build a report where you see like this lead has two different addresses and those addresses are identical. So you can accomplish this with the field here. And you can change, can use the current user. So that makes a lot of sense if you want to build user-centric reports in the sense of KPIs, in the sense of like everything for the dashboard. Here we would now switch back to value, and it was USA. And I'll just keep it like this. Okay. So far so good on the very, very basics of the reports. In other videos, I will go further into depth into what you can do with reports additionally, into groups, functions, into reports over several modules, and into charts and visualization of your data. So stay tuned. That's it for today, and see you next time. Bye.